Hey there everyone, welcome back to another video. I recently came across this clip on Wendy Williams' show, whom I regularly don't watch, but it struck me as very fascinating and I really wanted to talk about it and also see what people think. But what I'm really interested in doing here is reading her body language and seeing, trying to look a little bit deeper into what's going on behind what she's saying. She's smiling, so this here looks like a very genuine smile. You can see her eyes, so not only are her teeth showing and her lips come back here, but her eyes are also smiling. You see the wrinkles, the eyebrows on the end are elevated.
Well, she's an influencer and she's saying that she's retiring her husband.
So I guess she recently came out, this looks like a day ago, she recently came out and said that she's quote unquote retiring her husband. So the first question you have to ask yourself is, in what kind of relationship, maybe I have a personal bias, but in what kind of relationship does a woman or a man, because I mean honestly Wendy makes a good point, in what circumstance do you retire your spouse?
He's been a police officer for 15 years and he wants to live out his dreams. Take a look.
I have said to him, babe.
So immediately what struck me is there's incongruence in her face. She, not only is she, it took me a minute to understand what it was, but her facial expressions are not, there's just an incongruence of her facial expressions with what she's saying. She looks like she's trying to, it's a forced smile and it looks like she's sad. She's like smiling and sad at the same time, which, as we know, as I talked about in one of my other videos, when you smile but you're sad, it comes across as disingenuous. And that's what I believe I'm picking up here.
Said to him, babe, it's time.
Here it is again. She has her lips pressed together. The ends of her mouth are down. And I don't know if she's had, it's so tough to tell if she's had some, I don't believe she's had any cosmetic work done, because that often makes it difficult to pick up the hidden cues in people's faces. But she looks like she's sad while she's saying this. This is an expression of sadness, and I mean, I don't think she's crying.
It's time.
Here it is again. I mean, you can see it. Does this look like a normal smile to you? This is a normal smile. Do you see how the edges of my mouth, and it's probably a little tough to see my eyes, but there's this congruence that's missing in her face when she's saying this. So I'm just left wondering, and I'm probably going to look into it a little bit more. Why is she smiling and sad at the same time if she's announcing something that's happy? That's supposed to be happy. She's acting like this is a happy moment, a joyous moment for her husband, when because he gets to go off and do something else with his life, but she doesn't even explain why, and I'm probably going to look into this. I'm going to look into why she's, how she's, why apparently she's so happy about this, but sad at the same time.
Time. It's time for him to dream again. It's time for him.
Wait a minute. So the other thing too is I thought when we dream, I mean, unless you're telling your wife or your spouse what she's dreaming about, how does she know what his dreams are? Why is it her choice? So we're going into this gray area of ethics, and I know I've taken a course or two in ethics, and of course studied it because it plays a role in our medical decision making, or nursing decision making. And ethics, bioethics, and decision ethics are all fall into this category of no one person can say what is right and wrong. And in this case, we have a woman talking about her spouse saying that she knows what is best for him. I mean, they might have discussed it. I guess we don't really know that if they talk to each other. But I just am left wondering what this incongruence is here.
To think like a child and think, ooh, when I grow up, what do I want to be? And
boy, oh boy. I'm really interested to know what other people's impression of this is. It's something
else. It's time for a new journey, a new chance at life, right?
And the phrasing, okay, so that's the other big thing is the phrasing. Why are we having to restart our lives? Why is she wanting her spouse to restart his life? Shouldn't that be his decision? Isn't that, I mean, in nursing and medicine, right, we're supposed to respect our patients' wishes. We're supposed to honor our patients' wishes as long as we're doing no harm. That's the whole ethical, argument with Dr. Kevorkian, right? The famous physician that was euthanizing his patients at their request. So of course, yeah, I mean, that's a whole ball. That's what I'm trying to get at, is it's a whole ball of ethics, and that's what this seems to fall into to me, is it's a moral and ethical discussion, because of course we don't, when we're suffering, in the case of old age and dementia and severe pain, we're suffering through, and so you have to question the quality of the person's life. And that's actually the big question here, is like, what is your quality of life as a police officer in this country now? I have a very close friend that's a police officer and is very, I mean, I have so much respect and I just admire him, because it's something that I could never do. And I would never be comfortable doing, because sometimes, he's told me stories, it's like sometimes you're out there alone. So that relates to this story, and nobody has your back. So this relates to the story in that, maybe it's her, is this her decision to make? Why is this her decision to make? Why isn't he making the video? So that's number one, red flag number one, right? Then we have this incongruence in her facial expressions. It don't really match. Her emotions and what she's saying doesn't really match what her face tells us. She looks like she's holding something back, and that comes off as extremely disingenuous. Why isn't her husband there with her? Why is she making this video and putting this out herself? Is this her decision to make?
And God has blessed us.
And it's all in so that's the second or third red flag here, is God is blessing us. And I mean, I have nothing against religion. It's a deeply personal thing. No one can say, again, ethically or more ethically, that God doesn't exist, because we don't know. but her wording, the words she's choosing to use here are extremely strange to me. And I know part of it is the vernacular, the part of the country that you're in, but it still strikes me the wrong way. I mean, she's saying we have to restart our lives. God is giving us this chance. Does it have to be this grandiose, just going down, like continuing your life? It's not as if we're starting over, from age 0 or age 1. Why are we having this grandiose, reborn? It's a rebirth. I guess we're Jesus Christ now, where we're completely reborn and we're back to the start, and we get to choose again what path we're going to take in life.
He has blessed me that I can retire my husband.
Oh yes, it's God's blessing for you that he granted you this great power to retire your husband, to make this decision for him. I see. Yes. Oh man, and this guy, I mean, this is a good-looking guy here. Maybe they came to some. I'm really curious now. I really want to know if they came to some agreement here. Were they both on the same page about this? I mean, when you married someone, you said for better or worse, and in sickness and in health, her husband looks like he's healthy, has good mental capacity. So
Nope.
no, I this is one rare moment where I actually agree with Miss Williams.
Married to one of those. I make the money and so on and so forth. Go live your dreams, buy a business, stay with me, but go.
Don't drink Coke, by the way, everybody, or at least in moderation. I won't say don't drink it. Drink it in moderation.
Go. You see how that turned out. I predict that this marriage is going to be on real rocky ground in a moment. And I can't find my live like a child. No, but you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, no, you work. Being a cop was a big part of his identity. He liked it, but she came to him and said that.
Yeah, so I really have mixed feelings about this, and I don't know everything. It's very hard to know everything about these people's personal lives, but she posted a video about this, and he just looks like he's very sad and kind of disappointed. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's because of this decision. It seems like he did really enjoy his work, and when she's talking to him, he is looking down. He's not really looking at the camera, not really looking at her, but he's doing a lot of this. He's like talking. His voice is kind of down and depressed. It just doesn't seem like a great thing. It's not my decision. I don't think it should be her decision. I think that of course, if they're married, they should have come to that decision together. Let me know what you think in the comments down below.